welcome to episode 2 of the Tales of Yarnia podcast. I'm coming to you today from Cheltenham, which is where I live, with my partner Jimmy and our Labrador Jonah, who's decided to join us today. And you? Yeah. You good boy. He might disrupt the podcast, but he might be good and just lie here with me. So, yeah, it's been a bit of a while. As some of you know who may have watched before, we've been away for a month on holiday to New Zealand, so that might explain why we've had a bit of a gap after the first podcast. I'm still suffering a bit with jet lag, so you have to bear with me if my brain isn't functioning quite as it should be. I did forget to say welcome back to any viewers who watched my first podcast. I can't believe people actually wanted to watch it, so it's really nice to see people viewed it, and I got some really lovely comments about it as well, so thank you for that. And also welcome to any new viewers. I hope you enjoy the podcast. It's just a knitting podcast, and I just want to share what I'm making, so I can sort of join in with the rest of the knitting community. So I hope you enjoy watching. Right, next things. I did want to say thank you to Rachel of the Knit and Knitabilities podcast, because she gave me a bit of a shout out on her podcast, and made some really lovely comments about my Tegnis sweater as well. So everyone should really go and check out her podcast. She's really fun and lovely, and yeah, it's really, really good to be able to interact with other knitters now, so yay. Right, next up is what I'm wearing. Today I'm only wearing one hand knit item, and it's not even a new one. It's not a new finished object. It's this hat that's on my head. It's the beeswax hat by, I think it's Amy van der Laar. I'm not quite sure if I pronounced your name right, her name right. So, but yeah, I'll put it in the show notes at the bottom, so with a link. But yeah, it's got this sort of honeycomb pattern. I knit this last year, I think. Yeah, about a year ago. And I think it's probably the first nice hat that I've knitted that I do actually wear. So it was actually knit in, it's a DK weight, I think. It was DMC Woolly. I just got from Hobbycraft, which is like generic craft store over here in the UK. But it is 100% merino, and it's really nice. It hasn't really pilled at all, even though I have worn the hat quite a bit. And yeah, it's nice and squishy and soft, so I would actually use this yarn again. Yeah, so that's what I'm wearing today. So next up is FOs. So I've not really done that much knitting because we were travelling around a lot in New Zealand, and most of all I took with me was socks to knit on the plane, and just when we had a bit of downtime at the end of each day. But I didn't really get that much done. We did have one ferry ride, which was about 3 hours each way to get from the North Island to the South Island and back again, which is where I got most of my knitting done, probably. So I did finish a pair of socks, and I have worn them a couple of times now, so they have a bit of dog hair on them. So just excuse the dog hair, but everything in our house gets covered in it now, so not really any change. Right, these are the Volca socks, which is a pattern on Ravelry by Becky Sorensen. I think she is Soprano Knits on Instagram, and she also hosts I think it's the Soprano Knits podcast? She also has a podcast anyway, so she's worth checking out. I really enjoy her episodes too. But yeah, it's got this kind of cloud pattern on the top of the toe and then up the leg as well. So it's just kind of like a nice textured pattern where you don't really have to think too much knitting it, but it's a bit more interesting than just doing plain vanilla socks. I did keep to the pattern completely. I think there are a couple of mistakes that I made where I've not quite done the cloud properly, but it's only on the side, so it's only me wearing them, so who cares? No one's going to notice. I did use her heel pattern. She has her own heel design that she's developed as well. So, and I think it's suitable for people with high insteps, which is what I have. So, and she now has different sizes as well, like different adjustments, so that you can find the perfect size. But it's a short row heel, which is nice that you don't have to pick up stitches, and it looks a lot nicer when you've got contrasting heels and cuffs and toes, so fits in a bit better with that, I think. The yarn I've used for this I really love. I really love the way it's knit up. It's the Take the A Train colourway, the main colourway, and I think, oh, what's the name of this mini one? I think is it Blackberry Lips? But it's by Beehive Yarns. I bought the sock set, so it came with 100 grams of the Take the A Train colourway and a 20 gram mini. And I absolutely love these colours. I think I saw this colourway initially on Katie's podcast, Inside Number 23, and I absolutely fell in love with it because I love vintage colours, especially this sort of autumnal mixture of sort of burnt oranges and greens, but with a bit of purple mixed in. It's just exactly the sort of colour I love. So, and I love how it sort of striped itself. I didn't expect it to do that, but I really love it. So yeah, I've got 2 of those now, which I can wear. So that's exciting. My other finished object, I think I finished before I went away. Well, I did actually, because I didn't take it with me. And that is the Vortex shawl. I think I did show you this last time on the podcast. And now it is finished. So I'll show it to you. It is, this is a pattern by Charlotte Bory, and I absolutely love the finished finished product. It's mostly a brioche pattern, and it's so squishy. I'm going to try and put it on. Bear with me. So yeah, it's really, really cosy because it wraps around at least twice. So yeah, and you can just sort of see the brioche texture here, and you can just sort of see how squishy it is and how soft. I absolutely love it. I wear this constantly now. It is one of my favourite shawls to wear. So yeah, I think I did run through which yarns. I'm going to be too hot if I keep this on, so I'm just going to take this off. But I did go through which yarns I used for this. It's 3 completely different yarns. The lighter colour here is Fine Fish yarns in the sushi colourway. The pink, which is on the reverse side, is by Homespun House in the Whale Belly colourway, which I think was a one-off. I think that was a one-off colourway when I bought some sort of kit from her a year ago or so. So I don't think that's a repeatable colourway. I don't think she does that with her one-of-a-kinds. And then this sort of greeny bluey turquoise colour is, I think it's by Dye for Yarn, and it's Too Much Mint Cocktail. So yeah, the other thing I love about this shawl is I can wear it like a traditional sort of shawl, and it does completely wrap around like this. Just try and show you fully. So it completely wraps around like that, and that keeps me really warm. I used it on the plane when we went away, and it was so cozy, because I don't know about anyone else, but I get really cold on airplanes, and I think it's because all the aircon, they just blast it down on you. So yeah, that's really good for that. And at work I wear it on in the office because it gets really cold. The aircon seems to always be on, and there is no let up on it, so I always take this with me and just wrap it around like this. So yeah, that's that one. I don't know if I've got any more finished objects. I think that's it. Yeah, so I've got one nearly finished object. It's a pair of socks, I'll show you, where I've just got to do the heels. It's the Slytherin socks I think I showed last time, which I'm knitting for Jimmy. So I've got two finished sock tubes, and now I've started the heel on the first one, so I'm doing a true afterthought heel on this, and yeah. So I'm hoping, well, I'm gonna get these finished by Christmas, because I'll probably just give them to him as an extra Christmas present. So that would be nice, because I think he's waited about a year for these. So that will be a nice surprise. Although he has seen me working on them, so it probably won't be a surprise. But yeah, right, I've got a few other whips. Two of them are new that you won't have seen before. So I'll show you the one which you will have seen. It's my herbarium sweater, which I'm pretty sure I showed last time, and I'm not sure if I've made that much progress on it since you last saw it. I have now split for the sleeves, so it's a bit difficult to show actually, but this is now my main project I want to get off the needles. So let's have a look. Yeah, I've actually now also split for the well, put stitches on hold for the front part of the neckline. So it's worked, this pattern is worked from the bottom up. I'll try and show you. It's a sort of a lace pattern on the front and just plain stockinette on the back, which is quite good. So I've finished the back part, and that's all ready to be bound together at the top, I guess. And then now I've just working on the front, so I've done sort of that much, and then now those stitches are on hold, so that's going to be the bottom of the front neckline, and then I've got to work each shoulder part, and then it's the sleeves. So I might get this done before Christmas. I don't know, that would be quite good. There's a lot of things I want to get done before Christmas, so that's all quite fun. I think I mentioned last time the yarn is Quince & Co. in the Frost colourway. I can't remember what base it is. I think it's 100% wool, and I can't remember the name of it, but it's the fingering weight. So that's that one. I'm just going to have a sip of coffee if I can. This is my New York mug, which my lovely sister gave to me. Hi Ruth! She's travelling around South America at the moment. So, but she did actually watch this podcast. She's not a knitter, but she has started crocheting. I think she crocheted a scarf yeah, she started crocheting a scarf for when, so she had something to do for the trip, because she's done a lot of long bus journeys and on the flight and stuff as well. So she's been travelling around a lot, but it looks like she's having an amazing time. But she did actually watch my podcast, which she managed to do out there, which was really nice. So hi! And yeah, this is my favourite mug for my morning coffee. So I am a bit of a coffee addict, so yeah, I've got to have that. Right, carry on with the whips. So next one is another pair of socks. These ones are for me. They are self-striping, and these are knit in nomadic yarns in the Molly Weasley colourway, and it is as bright as it looks. The colour is so, like, the colour depth is unreal. It's just so gorgeous. Let me see. So I think it's a 6-stripe colourway, and the yarn, this is my first time using nomadic yarns, and I absolutely love working with it. I think I got it must be just the basic sock base. It's not sparkle or high twist. No, it's not. It's just the normal. I don't know what she calls the base though, but I absolutely love working with it. So this has been my main project. This is the one I took on the plane. And this is the main one that I've been working on whilst I've been travelling around. So just because it's plain stockinette, and I didn't really have much brain space to do much more than just stockinette round and round, and socks were just easy to take because they're so portable. So I've got one finished, and I'm now still working on the second one. And here's the ball. They come all wound up with all the colours showing, which is really cute. I really like working from that, and it's great not having to wind the yarn because I hate doing that. Right, so on here, this is how far am I? I'm not quite halfway, but not too far off either, actually. Can you see? Almost halfway. Then I've got my gingerbread man progress keeper. I think I may have shown these last time. I got the gingerbread man and the vampire ice lolly, which glows in the dark, both from Jiggles and Beans. I absolutely love it. So this is sort of my Christmas socks. So I want to try and get those done by Christmas Day as well. So that would be really cool if I could wear them on Christmas Day, actually. Yeah, that would be really good. So I'm going to try and do that. So that's 3 projects to finish in a week, I think. What's the date today? It's the 18th today, a Monday I'm recording. So, is it Christmas in a week? Yeah. Okay, I've got a week. Got a week to do that. Now I've got one more whip, which is in this project. Oh, I don't think I talked about the project bags. Did you see this one last time? This is, sorry, the Molly Weasley socks are living in this. And this is by Emerald, is it Emerald Fibres? I'll write it in the show notes if I've got that wrong. But this was the main project bag I used whilst I was away, because it's so sturdy, and I just found the drawstring and the handle I could just put over my wrist really useful when we were like on the plane and stuff like that. And I love the narwhal that she's got printed on it. I think all of her bags she prints onto them, and she has such beautiful designs. I absolutely love it, and it's so well made. It's really sturdy. It's got a lovely contrasting lining, and the drawstring is just, I don't feel like I need to be too delicate with it, which was good when I was having to just shove it in my bag when we were out and about. Alright, sorry about that. I think Jonah thought someone was at the door, but there was no one there. So, there's no one there. Yeah, so I forgot where I was up to. I think I'd just shown you the project bag by Emerald Fibres. I was about to show you the last whip that I've got on the go at the moment. And this is living in my Eldenwood craft bag, which I love. It's really festive. This is my own design that I'm working on, my latest sock design. I think I have posted some pictures of it on Instagram. But I don't think I started it last time I did the podcast. So here is the design so far. So it's another toe up design, but I think this one I might also do a version for cuff down, because it'll be quite easy to reverse the design that I've got on there. The other ones I might convert to cuff down at some point, but it'd be a bit more work for those two because of the lace pattern. But with cables I think it would be a bit easier. So yeah, it's got sort of a cable, seed stitch cable up the front, and sort of I just wanted something with texture, and then something that wasn't too overcomplicated. I didn't want the whole thing to just be cables and where you'd have to sort of think really hard on each row. So I wanted something that, some part of the sock that was a bit more intuitive and a bit more mindless. So yeah, I'm really enjoying how this is working up at the moment. I'm using Stranded Dye Works and the BFL base. I've forgotten the name of the base, but it is BFL, and I think BFL and nylon, or is it just BFL? I should have looked that up before I started recording. But yeah, it's in the Sugar Plum colourway, and I absolutely love how this is working up. It is just beautiful. If I show you the back as well, you can see sort of how it's working. So it's sort of like a lavendery colour with sort of pops of darker purples and like fuchsias, I think you'd call it. But I absolutely love it. I saw she had this colourway in one of her updates. I think it was a couple of months ago. And as soon as I saw it, I thought I really need to do a cable design. I really just want to do some cabled socks in that. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm really enjoying that. But this, I haven't been knitting on this that much since we got back, because it's a bit more involved than the other projects, and because I'm designing it I need to be concentrating more on that one. So that's taken a bit of a back seat for now, just while I get some other things off the needles, like the socks for Jimmy, and yeah, then my next focus will be the herbarium sweater, I think. But yeah, I will get back to these soon. So I'd love to hear what you think about them, actually. If you think you like the design, or if there's any parts of it you're not that keen on, or if you've just got any questions about it, I'd really like to know. So yeah, that's that one. I'll put that back. So that's all of the projects. That's all the FOs and all of the whips done. So I'll just put that back. Then next it's going to be stash enhancement and acquisitions, which is going to be quite a big section this week, this episode, because it's all of the stuff I've brought back from New Zealand. I did go to, how many yarn shops? I went to quite a few, and I think I bought things from 3 different shops. The first one I went to was in Auckland, and I can't remember what it was called, but it was quite a small shop. They didn't really have any local hand-dyed yarn, but they did have some skeins of, it's called Touch, I think is a New Zealand brand of yarn, and it has possum in it. So it's 60% merino, 30% possum and 10% silk. So it's a fingering weight, and it's quite, it looks like it's a fairly loose ply. Is it 2-ply? It might be a 2-ply. Not too sure. Yeah, I think, oh no, maybe a 3-ply. But yeah, it looks like a fairly loosely plied yarn. And the colour seems to have a lot of depth in it. I think it must be the possum in it. Apparently, one knitter that I met when I was in, it wasn't in Auckland or in this shop, it was just a different area of New Zealand. I met a few knitters that I just got talking to, which was really fun. This one lady told me that possum fibre, the hairs are actually hollow, so it keeps in a lot more heat if you're wearing possum than merino wool. So it's really, really warm. So even though this is fingering weight, it could be warmer. It'll be warmer than just merino wool because it's got the possum content. But it's coming up a bit lighter on screen, I think. It's much more golden in person. It's like a almost luminous golden colour. Is that more? No, if I get all 3. I bought 3 of them, so I got a sweater's quantity. So like to do some sort of sweater in that. Maybe cables. Maybe it'd be good for a soiree sweater. I don't know. But it's really soft. It doesn't feel like it would irritate my skin. I don't think. No, it feels like next to skin wearable. So I'm quite excited about that. The next shop was one I went to on the South Island, and it wasn't really a wool shop, like a yarn store. It was a sort of, it was like, where was it? It was sort of in a small like town that we drove through. It was in town in between Christchurch and Kaikoura. I think it wasn't far out of Christchurch. I think it was called Canterbury, like a small town. And there were a couple of shops there that we just went into. We stopped for lunch and then just had a look round. And there was this one shop called Three Board Housewives. And I really liked this shop. They had sort of gift things that you could buy for people. And then they also had this small room off to the side, which was just full wall to wall of like hand knit items, loads of baby clothes that the people who run the shop must have knitted, which I had a lot of fun looking through. And then we had a look round, and then Jimmy found hidden away a stash of wool that was for sale. So I rummaged through that, and I found a couple of skeins that I really liked. So this is one of them, and I think it's 200 grams. Yes, it is. It's called, here's the label, Utiku yarns, which is 100% wool, 100% New Zealand wool. It says Corriedale 8-ply, so it's DK weight, and it's 200 grams. So I've got 2 of these, quite a lot. and because I got ideas at some point doing some sort of thicker sort of DK weight shawl, maybe with cables or lace and texture. So I wanted just some neutral colour. This is so squishy, so squishy. So I thought this was perfect. So that will be good for that. And then the last shop that I've bought from is one which I had planned on going to before we made the trip, and it's Holland Road Yarn in Wellington. I think they're on Instagram, and they've got a good website. I think they ship worldwide, but they were the only shop I found online in New Zealand, anywhere we were going to, that had local hand-dyed yarn. So I was really excited to see that. The first time I went twice to this shop because we stayed in Wellington at 2 separate points. The first time I went, I didn't buy that much for myself, but well, I did actually. I did buy a couple of skeins of Madeleine Tosh, so I'll show you that first. I got, I think it's, yeah, Tosh DK in the Spectrum colourway. I just kept being drawn to this colour. I think it's just the richness of the blue and purple and mixed in with the other colours. I absolutely love it. Yeah, it's got dog hair on it already. And then I also got Gemini Twins, which I just love the speckling in. So yeah, oh, that bit's good. So these two are going to be going together for a hat, which I think I did show you last time. I was really excited about this hat when I saw it in Pom Pom, the latest issue. And it's a pattern by Leslie Ann Robinson. I think it's called Cobalt Tone. That's the hat. So I think I've got the same, I think they used, which colours? They used Gemini Twins, which is this one, as the lighter colour, and then they used Medieval as the darker one, but I think there's enough contrast between these two for it to work. So yeah, that will be cast on at some point. So that's those. Then the second time I went back, I really wanted to get some of the hand-dyed yarn. So I did sort of raid that section of the shop. And the second time I went, we went into Wellington city centre. I took Jimmy both times, but the second time we went, we were in town with Jimmy and his dad, who doesn't knit. And I don't think either of, well, Jimmy's been to yarn stores because of me, but Jimmy, his dad, had never been to a yarn store. And in Holland Road Yarn, they've got some sofas where people can sit and knit and chat, and I think they have knit nights and things like that. And so Jimmy and his dad sat down with a group of ladies who were already knitting and got chatting to them. So that was just really fun that they got involved in in the knitting and talking about all the yarn and different techniques and things. And yeah, it was quite funny that they were getting involved as well, which I didn't expect. So that was quite nice because the ladies distracted them whilst I took forever trying to decide what colours of yarn I wanted. So they were really helpful with me as well, because I was really struggling. It was basically a wall of colours of skeins of fingering weight yarn, and I really wanted to get a few different colourways for just future sock projects and things. So first colourway I picked was Oh, I didn't say the brand of the yarn. It is Niche, which is there. It's 100% New Zealand merino, which I know people say you shouldn't use 100% merino for socks, but I really want to, so I'm not too bothered. One pair I've made already were with 100% merino. I don't really wear my socks that hard, so I don't think it's that much of an issue for me so far. So these colours are absolutely gorgeous. This one is called Silver Lining, and they're 50 gram skeins, so I got 2 to do 1 pair of socks. Yeah. So that's the first colourway I got. The second one is called Ducks in a Row, and it's a sort of light minty green. Sort of a minty green, yeah, I'd call it mint. But very light greeny blue, which is really pretty. So I think that'll be nice for some sort of lace pattern. I think that'll look really nice in that. Oh, it's getting blown out now. But it is more green than blue. Not sure if that's showing up right or not, but that. And then there was one other colourway I got. I'd originally picked up a different brand of yarn for this colour. Was it? I think it was a German brand. But I've really wanted to get local dyed. And one of the ladies who was sitting down knitting saw the colours I'd got, and she said that she'd saved one of the niche colours that she was possibly going to buy later, but she decided against it, but it was still in her bag. And she asked if I wanted to have a look at it and see if I wanted that one instead, so that I could have the local dyed yarn. But there was only one of them left, and they're 50 gram skeins. But I looked at it and it was more of a deeper shade of the colour I wanted than the original one I'd picked up. So I've gone for it, and it was so lovely of that. I didn't even get her name, but she was so lovely just offering that. I said, are you sure you don't want it? I don't want to steal this yarn from you. But she was like, no, I've decided I don't want it, it's absolutely fine. But it was a shame they only had one left, but I was thinking it'd be really nice to have a contrast colour with this, and then it should be fine. This colour it's called Golden Syrup, which suits it so well. I don't know if it's showing the depth of colour enough on there, but it's a very rich colour, rich mustardy yellow, and it does look the colour of golden syrup. So yeah, I think that's all of my stash enhancement. So that is pretty much everything I was going to cover. I have got lots of video that I took through the trip, which I was going to sort of compile together and put at the end of the episode. So you tired, June? I think I'll just stick that all at the end, and then you can carry on and watch that if you'd like to see it. But if you're just here for the podcast content, then we're coming to the end of it now. So just wanted to say thank you everyone for watching. Thank you again to those of you who've come back after watching the first episode. It's really lovely to get some nice feedback, and that it's really nice that people actually want to watch and listen to me ramble on. So thank you. It's been a bit of a strange month, because it was a bit strange. It's always strange coming home after holiday, and I am still jet lagged, but it was really, really nice to come back, and now it's pretty much Christmas. So literally the day after we got back, I got all the Christmas decorations out. You can't see any of them here because I'm in the craft room. We don't have any in here, but it was really good to just have something exciting happening as soon as you get back. And then it was even more exciting to see Jonah again after a month. So he's definitely settled back into a routine of things. And yeah, I think it's probably time for his walk soon. So I'll sign off here, and hope you all have a wonderful Christmas or festive season in general, because this will probably be my Christmas podcast. I won't be doing another one before then, and I hope you all have a wonderful new year as well. Oh, he's so tired. Right, well, I think that was everything I had to say. So I'll speak to you probably again in the new year, because I would like to carry on doing the podcast. I don't know how regular it's going to be, because everything's all crazy with Christmas at the moment. So yeah, I will see you all next year. Bye!